Alright, so today I'm going to try to get this fuel system buttoned up. So we're changing this all over to 8. Okay, so we'll have 8 there, 8 coming out of here. Got the lines already made up. 10 going from here to the back. And then back here,
I gotta take
the tank out. Gotta take the tank out. We're gonna plug these 2 holes. Take this apart, take the tank out of the car, take this apart, and then put this 12 bung in here.
and run that to the pump.
And then that'll go to the pump. The pump we're probably gonna mount like right here and run the line down through there. You gotta run this gotta get all wired, relays and stuff. So, alright, so your job right now is take the tank back out again. And then the plugs should be here in a couple of days, but we can put them on anytime. That's easy. You gotta make a hole.
Alright.
And do that. Alright, I'm gonna keep working on the front. I'm gonna put the end on one of the hoses to come back here, and then we'll cut the other end when it gets back here. And finish up doing wiring.
Okay.
Got a hole. All that stuff out of there. And we'll get that fitting mounted back in there. Put all that stuff back together on the top and reinstall the tank. So we got the tank back in there. Got the bung mounted there. That's gonna get 2 plugs. It's a number 12. This is gonna go here. Gonna mount the pump back in here on a little bit lower than the floor or whatever, same height as the tank. And then Josh is gonna mount the fuel pump relay right here, because then that gets wired to that, grounded to here, right to the battery, and that's it. So this is gonna go like this. Okay. So I gotta make a hole in the floor to make the fuel go through. Oh yeah. All right.
Probably missing a tooth? No.
No, it's hitting the freaking. All right, I gotta change the bit. All right, so I'm making the rest of the fitting for the feed for the fuel. That's gonna come to that regulator. Josh is in the back. He's mounting that relay. This uses a dual relay for this pump. And then the pump gets wired, the relay gets wired right here. Alright, so I'm gonna finish making up this hose. And then this one's gonna be, I gotta make up the fittings for this one. Is gonna be for the bypass from the pump. So that it goes from this back to the return on the tank. Alright, so we're starting to mount stuff in the car so then it could be wired. We got this wire mess in here for now. Once it's done, it'll be nice and clean. You won't even know there's wires in this car. Alright, so he's mounting the coil right there. We're using the 2 bolts that we mounted. So the 2 bolts that we mounted this, the studs are sticking out. We're gonna mount the coil to that, put 2 nuts on it, so we don't have to make any more holes. We don't want holes. We already covered up a million holes. We don't want to make holes. Okay, so then we have to mount this box. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna make a stand for it in there so that you open the glove box up and it'll be right there where you can adjust. This has these little socket things. You put your little screwdriver in there and you set your rev limit, high and low, 2-step and all that stuff. So it'll be right there in front of you. The other box, this box here, we're gonna mount that there also so that it's easily accessible in case you gotta change anything or change a fuse or relay, all that good stuff. All right. So
right, that's
getting
not
that
going
done.
nowhere.
That's done. That's nice. That's mounted right there.
Okay.
That is the rubber plug where the coil wire is going to come through.
The bump button's already in.
Bump is in there. All right.
What's right here?
Huh?
What's right here?
That's the what you call it? The plug. That rubber seal thing I put in there.
Oh.
So you can close off the hole. All right. Keep on moving.
All right, so we're gonna mount the.
We're
What is
booking
that,
now.
a
We're
stud?
booking now.
What is that thing? This like
This-
a stud or?
What? This?
Well, yeah. So
it's-
you can run all your wires. You put your hot wire to the big stud, and then you can run all your little wires to it.
But I'm gonna run. So now what happens is, so you got the wire going from the starter,
So we got all that up.
right? This is the wire going to the starter. This one's the one for the alternator. That already goes all the way back. We already did that. This is gonna get mounted here, and now any positive lead that I need, the starter's gonna go on here. The main lead from the back is gonna go on here. So that's basically the starter is like all one shot, right? But then all these other little ones, if I need something or if I need a bigger wire, everything will be on here. So the MSD box, when it says directly to battery,
You can
you
put
know,
it to
that's
there.
gonna go stay right on that. There's a couple things that have to go directly on this, and then everything else could be put, you know, that way without it. But we needed a place to mount all this stuff, so or else you got a mess going on. So now we're making this.
And then I'm gonna mount the battery back in,
Yep.
and then we can work from that.
Yep. All right. All right. That thing's mounted there. Wire starting in the back. I got ends made up for that. Ends made up for the alternator wire. I'm gonna make a ground, and then a positive from the battery to the switch. The switch is getting mounted here where it was before. All right, so we're gonna do that, and then believe it or not, I just use red duct tape. Like if the wire is that way, so we put, so you know it's positive red. Okay, this is obviously red. This one's obviously going to be red from here to there, black from here to there. Okay. All right, so same thing with these. This one's going to be the ground cable. Strip the end off it. Nice clean end on it. Hopefully we'll be ready to go to the track this weekend coming. Or next weekend actually, whatever it is. Got a few things ordered that need to be, a few things we need to order. Well, we ordered them, but
What are you making the other
here,
one?
hold that right there. 1 second. There it goes right there. Oh, too far. Right there. All right.
We gotta figure out where we're gonna put this.
That goes right there in the same place.
Oh,
Yeah, he
okay.
already had it in there. That's why I don't want to make another hole. Where's the black duct tape? Get the black one, wrap this one with the black. That'll be done. Gotta make this one. So this will go on there. And only long enough. That's good. Now that all this is all mounted, we got the fuel lines running under the car. All nice tucked away so nothing touches anything. Got the hole made. So we're waiting for some rubber grommets or mounts, these little rubber isolator mounts, vibration mounts, whatever you want to call them, for the bottom of the pump. Which, again, I don't know why they don't send them to you like that already. They know you're going to use them. And they're big. They're like 5/16.
Red.
So, like that.
Okay.
And there you go. Alright. The other side. Do the same thing with the black, with the ground strap.
Alright, you did these.
Put them on. Alright, I could put one on there. Find a bolt for that. Leave the bolt loose because there's other things that are going to go on that, but just at least that's on there.
Nut for it.
Yeah. See if you can find a nylon locking nut. This way it doesn't come off. Try to use nylon locking nuts, guys, for as much as you can, especially in a race car, because stuff vibrates everything to death. Alright, so this is going to go here. Again, we got the Moroso 4-prong switch, okay, 4-way switch. And that's all going to get wired in. Alright, we'll go back to the front and start doing more in the under.
Alright, so we're cutting a piece of carbon fiber so we can mount our fuse box. What are you doing? Anyway, we're gonna mount the fuse box right over here. That way we can get all of the wires from the back side and everything, and it'll be, you know, accessible. Because then you plug, we'll show you guys, you plug this into it and then you run all your wires off of it, and everything has a fuse.
That's going to go like that.
And then I'm gonna weld our tabs on.
Got to weld some tabs in there now.
And that'll be just like that.
And then I'll mount that thing to this.
Where is it? Oh. There.
So that'll get mounted to this. This is going to go like this. And this is going to go
And
like
that's gonna get
so.
mounted on there.
Just like that.
Then you plug your wire in, and then you
All the
run
wires
all
go
your
here.
stuff
All the
to it.
fuses will be here.
It's
So
actually pretty nice.
The switch panel plug
Yeah.
gets plugged into that.
Okay. And then it'll look like that. It'll be nice.
Yep.
It's where we got our computer mounted on the car, so. Alright.
So, got the carbon fiber cut. I'm making some tabs. Make 5 tabs, make them all the same. I'm gonna put a hole in here. We'll be able to mount that panel. Those tabs are gonna get welded to the cage, to the bar on the side there. I'll show you what it looks like when we're kind of done with it. And then that'll get mounted to the carbon fiber, so that could come off if it needs to come off. This will come off too, but those will be welded on. So the carbon fiber will come off, or together, or just the fuse panel. All right, so the tabs are made up. Get the welder out. Josh is going to start welding them in place, and then we can make the holes in the carbon fiber. All right, so he's going to tack those little tabs in there, so they go on a fixture so that they're even with the roll bar. So when you mount the little the carbon fiber panel, it sits nice and flush. All right. Keep moving along with the fuel system. All right, so these tabs are all welded on. Priming them, where you're going to paint them. This is mounted here. Made all the holes from the back. And that gets mounted to that. And once that's painted, I can mount that on there. The MSD box, I made 2 brackets that are going to go on the back of it, and then that's going to get welded on top of the dash bar, facing up like that, so that you could get to these controls. All right, I'll show you that when that's done. So right now I'm just mounting all this, and then I got to tack that in place, take that off, weld that, and then paint those. Paint that, paint that.
All right, got those tabs on.
We are good to go.
Where'd you weld
Tomorrow.
it? Can you see it?
Tomorrow we'll be able, no, paint it tonight, and then tomorrow I'll be able to put them on and then start wiring the rest of this thing.
All right, so that's bracket for the MSD box.
All right.
Brackets for all that.
This is gonna sit like this, right, like that,
Okay.
and then all the wires will come off of that and go into the back.
All right.
So,
Get
All right.
in there. Let's paint all that.
paint all that, and then tomorrow we'll finish it up. All right, so I just finished putting all these fittings on here, run the lines, so that's done. All we got to do now is just tie up the line that goes from the front to the back. We got it running underneath over there by the rocker. Josh was over here making that little fiberglass patch behind the wheel well. This is all painted now. Got that mounted in there, the bracket mounted in there. I'm gonna start running my wires to this end of the car. Got the fuse panel, circuit breaker panel all mounted to that. So I'm gonna mount that panel to the chassis, and then I'll be able to take that off real quick, wire it. I'm gonna leave enough lead so you can pull it out to here. If you ever got to change it or check something out or whatever, you know, you have it in front of you, and then it'll be bolted down on the side there, on the inside, so it's protected. All right, so I'm gonna mount that right now and do that now that that's done in the front. So basically the fuel system is pretty much done. The only thing left to do on the fuel system right now is, excuse me, we got the hole made there, the lines coming up through that. I got the pump all set with the fittings all in it. Gotta take that bracket off. We're waiting on 4 isolator, those rubber mounts, to mount the pump down in there. And that's about it. All right, all the cables are all run, everything's run for that. We just got to mount that back in its spot once we know that that's where it's staying. Fuel lines are made up for the tank, from the tank to the pump. Oh. The ignition box brackets are in there. I don't know if you could see them. Right there, that one and that one. They're mounted in there, the coil's mounted. So I'm gonna run the ignition box in, mount that in there, mount this plate in there, and start buttoning that up so we can start running some wires. All right, so this is the wiring harness for the headlights. I'm sorry, for the directionals. Brake lights, directional, and 4-way hazard, believe it or not. So this is the 4-way hazard that they got. The directional switch would have been this, but now we're mounting it onto this Motion Raceworks one. So we exchanged it all onto this thing. All that. So this wire, white wire, is your brake light switch. That's power for the directional. That's power for the relays. That's power for the hazard. This is ground for the whole thing. Then you got left front, left rear.
You got your four
lights. Left and front. I mean left and rear. Left and right, front and rear. All right. So I'm gonna mount this in there. I'm gonna mount this in there. I'm gonna mount this in there. Same thing. Then all the wires will go to where they're supposed to go. The ground is gonna go on that stud on this side. Everything else goes the other way.
All right.
All right.
So this is the headlight switch.
Headlight switch. We'll run all that. All right, you install this. I got enough pigtail to do what I got to do with that.
Okay.
Put that one in. All right. See where we left off yesterday. So headlight switch, hazard switch, directional switch, all that's pretty much ready to go. It's all going that way. That's what that looks like. Okay. Put a carbon fiber piece there. Mounted all that there. All the wires are going to get running there. All the grounds go onto that one side. That is a lug, multiple contact lug for the positive side of the battery. So that gets direct power all the time until you shut the switch off. So all the light for the rear of the car go on this side. Brake lights. We got new sockets to put in there. So they're 3-wire sockets because it didn't have it. It had 2-wire sockets. Oh, and these were supposed to ground against the body, but they weren't even making any contact. So these are the wires coming back here. We'll wire all that later. This all wired. This goes to the fuel pump. That wire there is the fuel pump from the switch. This is the actual fuel pump to the pump. These 2 heavy wires go here. They're going to get attached into this switch cutoff. The caps. Got the caps for the gas tank in there. And we're working on this side. So the ignition box is in here. Coils in there. So we're running all the wires. All that goes in there like that. Okay, this is the ignition box still. So now I'm actually doing that right now. That's the next thing I'm doing. This is for the fuel switch. So that rocker panel up there controls this circuit board. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 switches up there that this controls. And then it's got auxiliary stuff, and you need other stuff to put in there, like you could probably run trans brake is going to go through there also, but you could do a shifter through there. You could do all kinds of stuff through that. All right, which this doesn't have a electric shifter or spring shifter or anything like that. So I'm going to get in there. I got a brake light switch that's got to go in, and then that gets wired into the lights in the back. All right, we're getting there. It takes time, and it is muggy as all heck today out here. So this is all done. This is all ready to go. Engine compartment's done, just waiting on that one line that goes from here to there. Okay, everything else in the engine compartment's done. Josh finished last night. He finished tying down all the fuel lines and the lines, everything that goes in here. So we're cooking. Got a big jumble of mess here with my Wawa coffee. That's why you got to make sure you got coffee. All right, and we keep moving. All right. Everything's wired under there now. Everything's tucked in nice and neat. That's going to get tucked up there. I got to make a little hole so I can tie it up. And all the wires are starting to go that way. Okay. There we go. Keep moving. It's hard to film being under the dashboard, but we're getting there. All right, so now I'm going to make up the harness that goes from the shifter. So all that's that way. Got the steering wheel on. I'm going to make up the wire that goes from the shifter because that'll be under the rug. So that's going to stay there. That's going to be a neutral safety switch and an air shifter or electric shifter or whatever you're going to use, back spring shifter. The wire will already be run back here. So all you got to do would have to just plug it into whatever solenoid you're going to use if you ever do that. Over here, he wants this as a line lock and that as trans brake. So we're going to wire all that in, run those wires, and bring everything over to there. Same thing with the line lock is over here. We're going to run that up into this and get that all situated, and then that all has to be brought back into the boxes, to the electronics. All right, so that harness is run. That's plugged in. The other 2 wires have ends on them, but they're not plugged into nothing. So that's something you can add later. Over here, what we're going to do is I'm going to use the other you had a 5-way switch, whatever, 5-way plug, like a weather pack plug. I'm going to use that here. So both of those will be hooked to one weather pack plug. This way, if you ever have to take the wheel off and out of the car, you're done. You don't have to worry about unplugging and cutting wires and splicing junk. All right? So that's what I'm going to do with that. I'm going to make that harness up next. That's going to be tomorrow. So that's going to be this wire and line lock. So trans brake and line lock will be on one of these, on this other weather pack. So it's going to be on this other one. All right? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the like button for us if you could. If you're watching the video, help us out. Hit the like button for us. Josh is still under here finishing up some, what are you doing in there?
The
Transmission lines. He's doing that. And then we got to wire this in there and the rest of those spaghetti. So that. So as of now, that's wired. I'm gonna finish wiring that, that's all the dash stuff, all the gauges, indicator lights, tachometer, headlights, turn signals. That's what's left. All right. See you tomorrow.
Quitting time.
Quitting time.